Hello everyone, here we are for week 21 CC cycle 2 and today we're doing memory work starting with math. So for the associative law of addition, it states that A plus, open parenthesis, A plus B plus C equals A plus, open parenthesis, B plus C, close parenthesis. Hope you can see that okay. For multiplication, we have the same associative law. All we're going to do is change it from a plus to a times. We're going to multiply. So the associative law for multiplication states that A times B plus, open parentheses, A times B, close parenthesis, times C equals A times, open parenthesis, B times C, close parenthesis. And we're going to sing it to the tune of do Lord, oh do remember me. And it goes like this. Hopefully we'll try to keep along here the best I can. Okay, so the associative law for addition states, open parenthesis, A plus B, close parenthesis, plus C equals A plus open parenthesis, B plus C, close parenthesis. And then we have the associative law for multiplication, which has the same tune. The associative law for multiplication states, open parenthesis, A times B, close parenthesis, times C equals A times open parenthesis, B times C, close parenthesis. Can we do that one more time? Okay, sounds like this. The associative law for addition states, open parenthesis, A plus B, close parenthesis, plus C equals A plus, open parenthesis, B plus C, close parenthesis. And the associative law for multiplication states, open parenthesis, A times B, close parenthesis, times C equals A times, open parenthesis, B times C, close parenthesis. And that is how we do our math for week 21. The associative laws. That is a lot of letters and times and multiplication and addition to remember, but hopefully the tune helps us to keep it all together and at least the format a little bit. All we're changing is the addition sign to a multiplication sign. Okay, for English we have a conjunction. A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases or clauses together. And our tune is Hole in My Bucket, and it goes like this. A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. One more time. A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. That is a conjunction. Okay, for history we have tell me about the end of the Cold War. And so we're the tune of this song is really to like a dance sound from 1980s, and so it's kind of fun. We're going to add a little bit of motion to it. But it says, in the 1980s, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and American President Ronald Reagan worked together to end the Cold War, lessen big government, and strengthen the conservative movement. So the hand motions go like this. In the 1980s, ooh, British, and then we'll do this for like the M, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and American President Ronald Reagan worked together to end the Cold War, lessen big government, and strengthen the conservative movement. Okay, one more time. In the 1980s, so this is an 8 and a 0, so in the 1980s, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and American President Ronald Reagan worked together to end the Cold War, lessen big government, and strengthen the conservative movement. Okay, for Latin we have first conjugation, endings, and pluperfect tense. To remember that, we have a blue ram joining us today. This is a blue ram to remind us that the sound is pluperfect tense, blue, plu, and also that the first sound of our pluperfect tense endings is a ram. So it sounds like this. Aram, eris, erat, aramis, eratis, erant. First conjugation, pluperfect tense. So this is not a perfect ram, but it is our pluperfect tense. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully our blue ram helps us to remember that our pluperfect tense starts with a ram. Okay, for a timeline we have World War II and president. Interestingly enough, the sign for president is the ram's horns because they are the leader of the pack. So President Franklin, FDR. We're going to go ahead and do those initials. So World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Okay? Then we have Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn massacre. This is the sign for kill. So we're taking our pointer and going under. The Katyn massacre means that there was killed masses of people. So we'll go like this. Then we have the United Nations. Take our two front fingers, join them together to show that we're united. So the United Nations formed. Then we have the Cold War. Then we have Gandhi and India's independence. So we're going to make a G, just like this, a G, and then touch here for our sign for India, and then independence. So Gandhi and India's independence. Then we have the Jewish state established. So this is the sign for Jewish, like you're touching your beard or on your chin. And then we have S for state, and the sign for the state established just goes like this. So Jewish state established. Okay, then we have Mao. Take your M, Mao, and the communist victory in China. Same sign for China that we did earlier in our timeline. So Mao and the communist victory in China. And that is our timeline. For geography, we have Central America. And we are learning about where Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Nicaragua are. So Belize is the little one here. Then we have Honduras over here. Guatemala, El Salvador is this other little one down here at the south, and then Nicaragua. We're going to sing this to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. And it sounds like this. Central America, here is Belize, Honduras and Guatemala, El Salvador and Nicaragua. This is Central America. Central America, here is Belize, Honduras and Guatemala, El Salvador and Nicaragua. This is Central America. And that is our geography. Last but not least, we have science. Science this week says, what is the third law of thermodynamics? The third law of thermodynamics explains that it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature. So for this, we're going to do some motions. And our motions look like this. The third law of thermodynamics explains that it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature. So we're going to do it like we're doing a temperature gauge back down to zero. So once again, the third law of thermodynamics explains that it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature. And that is our memory work for this week, 21. I hope it's helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.